Leafs talk. JD Bunkis, the return of Sam McKee, who was at the game last night. Jackie Redmond filled in for you admirably. I got to tell you, buddy, you were on the hot seat in the chat.
Yeah, of course. Shocker. Yeah. It's a really stunning development there.
Yeah.
Okay. So you were chirping me pre-show. For the people who are watching on YouTube, you're chirping me pre-show about having the poppy on the wrong side. But now we got the box with my name on it. You can't see it.
Yeah,
so I'm
true.
going over this side.
You gotta go. Yeah, it's all right.
Over here. There we go.
Hey, you know what? This is good because this is probably the best way to start the show anyways. Listen, if you watch the beginning and the opening ceremonies and you don't get emotional, I don't know what to tell you. Like, we have so few World War II veterans left. We're talking about people who are now living to be 100 years old and still with us. And, you know, obviously very grateful for that. And yeah, Remembrance Day is an important time in this country. I know it's very meaningful to you and I. And I would say, like, listen, we don't like to get too preachy on the show, but I would ask, like, take 5 seconds out of your day tomorrow and make sure that you go and grab a poppy. You walk into any Shoppers Drug Mart, basically any single convenience store. You walk in, like, I know some of you commute to work. You're on a drive right now. You're like, oh, where am I going to go and stop? I think it's just a meaningful thing. It's a great signifier. I know how I feel when I see a lot of people wearing poppies versus when I don't. And I know what it means to those people that served when they see it on people too. And so, yeah, 10 seconds takes you. Just figure it out, get one on, fire it up. And yeah, I think we're going to obviously everybody spend some Monday with their moment of silence to reflect on what the men and women who serve for this country have done for all of us. So not the greatest time in our country, I would say, lately, but yeah, this is something that is still very, very important.
I will say, when I used to do Leafs Nation post game, I would go to the games, you know, every year for 3 years. I was the producer of the broadcast on the Sportsnet radio network, and I was always so excited when we got the Armed Forces night because it was just such a meaningful night down there. And you know, they had people come up into the booth where they'd spend time with Joe and Jim, and they'd come in and we get to talk to them, and they're just always so happy to be there. So sweet. And then after the game, they're out in the ice, they're meeting players, which is probably happening right now. It's just, it's an awesome thing that the Leafs do at this time of year. And the least you can do is wear a poppy. So good way to start there, buddy. And Absolutely. Jim Parks doesn't look a day over 6,500. Oh my God. He's looking younger than me.
Absolutely crushed it for 100. So yeah, they get a win for the troops. They get a win for the troops. Leafs dominate the Habs. Maybe a little bit of a let up in the third period where Montreal tried to pour it on, but for the most part, that was a solid effort from the Maple Leafs and Habs team that is just completely overwhelmed. I can't believe they've got a show that's going to be following the Habs around all season. Here's my guess is those players can be pretty tired of it by January.
Did you ever watch the Netflix show about Sunderland? The English Premier team? No. That was like so they were like a really proud franchise.
Yeah,
and they got demoted to the second league, like to the championship.
Yep.
And then they did like this whole year long documentary on them, like in their pursuit to go back up. And they actually got worse and they went down another level. And it was like, so it's basically like they're doing a documentary. The Habs are Sunderland. Yeah. And they were supposed to take a step this year. Yeah. And they're just equally as bad as they've been for the past few years. I gotta tell you, man, I guess we'll just start here. It's an embarrassing squad that they got going on there.
It's a really bad hockey team.
It's the Montreal Canadiens, and clearly we're both, Leaf fans growing up. We always hate the Montreal Canadiens, but you want the Montreal Canadiens to show some pride, to show like they are a real legit hockey team. It's a better, it's a classic saying, it's a better league when the Montreal Canadiens are good. And I just don't see the route to it. Like, sure, they got some young players in that Hudson everybody's talking about, and Slavkovsky, and
who gets barbecued again tonight, but
Cole Caulfield, who's all right, but like, I don't know, man. I look at that squad and I don't know what the path is. They stink. They play with no passion. Like, I don't know, like Martin St. Louis, they brought him off. He was a legendary player. The last thing he coached was Pee-wee hockey, and they throw him behind the bench of the Montreal Canadiens, and it's like, that's a tough job. I don't know. I really, if I was a Habs fan, I would be really disenchanted with the direction of the franchise. I know they got Ken Hughes in there to, he's rebuilding and he's doing the right thing or whatever. But that feels like a team that's a few years away from being a competitive playoff team. And I don't know how long that market's gonna take that. They stink.
They were supposed to be competitive this year. Maybe they weren't supposed to be a playoff team, but they were supposed to be competitive. And yeah, listen, Montreal still has the COVID season, the 3-1 blown series lead, which like they get to wear as a feather in their cap and is a tough one. But I actually was thinking tonight about how bad this Montreal team has been and how bad Ottawa has been now for such a long stretch, where this playoff format was supposed to be, hey, there's parity in the league and teams are going to kind of go up and down and you're going to develop rivalries. And instead, Toronto has developed rivalries with one market that it isn't a rivalry because they've been beat down by them so badly that Bruins fans just view Toronto as a joke. And Tampa, who has no real hockey fans, and nothing was more clear than the night Stamkos came back and you saw some of the reception from the quote unquote Tampa people. So yeah, it is a bit.
Did you watch the intro to Hockey Night in Canada where Sean McKenzie did like the club, like the country club of like the teams, and it's just the same 4 teams every year in the Atlantic, and it's like you're waiting for one of these other teams to get like the invite in, and it's just they never do.
Nobody's getting in. Nobody's gotten in.
Gonna be
same this year.
Although Sens did beat the Bruins tonight in overtime. I think the Bruins are heading in the wrong direction. Sens maybe get in there, but anyways, if I was a Habs fan who spent, I don't know, I saw a lot of red in that lower bowl. It's Saturday night Hall of Fame weekend. Ticket, you're conservatively spending $5.50 for a lower bowl ticket.
Yep.
I'd be pretty embarrassed leaving that rink. That was a dog effort by the Montreal Canadiens. They were awful tonight in all 3 zones. God. And no wonder Lane Hudson's ice time so high. He spends 2 minutes a game in his own zone chasing the puck around. No wonder his ice time's so high.
So story of the game to me is pretty clear. The Leafs are now just went 3-0 without Austin Matthews. They outscored teams 11-2 without Matthews in the lineup. I think they're now 40-19-2 overall. I might have that wrong by a game.
What's that winning percentage?
Dude, it's absurd. I'm not even this is a real question. When Matthews comes back, presumably on Tuesday night,
press box?
Are you no? Are you? Yeah, only because Pacioretty got hurt. That's why he's got his spot.
You can get back in.
But are you putting him back on power play 1 right away? 5 straight. They had 5 straight opportunities with a goal. The power play has been absolutely destroying. And yes, that started before he came out. So I don't want to get too over the top with this, but yeah, the power play is clicking. Dude, they went from being, this was, I saw Myrtle tweet this one out, that they're now up to 22% in the season from 8 just like a couple of weeks ago. 22% of the season, barring what some of the results are tonight, is top 10 in the NHL. They've gone from the worst power play in the league to a top 10 power play essentially overnight. It's absurd.
The second Austin Matthews got injured.
Yeah.
They turned into the best power play in the league. I will say the Willie one, I don't really count as a power play goal.
I do.
It's 4 fire pokers. He cruises through the neutral zone and shoots in the net. That's not like your typical power play goal per se, but it's still a power play goal. It still counts. Like none of these guys even. That's just embarrassing by the Habs. Sorry to bring it up again, but holy crap, that's so bad. If you're watching on YouTube, like I don't know what is supposed to be.
It's a beautiful play by Nylander.
It's a great goal, but
the last one, like he loads up the whole ice coast to coast,
put
and
a body on him.
Final play. Yeah, of course, sure.
I don't know. You have to. Clearly, you have to put him on PB1. But the answer is no. Like if we're being honest here, I think you'd have if all things were equal and we didn't live in Toronto and have the conversations about this team and the way that Austin Matthews is and everything to do, he shouldn't go back up there right away. But they will, and he will be on the top power play unit, and he'll get power play minutes. But pardon?
Tavares has 2 straight games with a goal, so you're taking him off the unit? Like you're going back to 5 forwards? Morgan Riley scored over the stretch. Like who are you taking off? Marner's looked brilliant. Nylander is leading the league in goals, which I think is the quietest story in Leafland right now, is the fact that Nylander has just casually been tied for the league in goals, and people just kind of like, yeah, whatever. It's not the 3rd day of the season. Like
he makes $11.5 million, so he should be up there.
Sure,
he's producing to his contract. That's
but he should also get credit when he's up there too. And I'm just saying, it's like barely a story. It's just like it's a throwaway line in broadcast. Like, oh, he's leading the league. You're like, good. Pretty good.
Good. I'm glad that he's doing that. Good. I guess it's you just go back to the 2 unit thing if you want to do it like that, or you just It's a tough one. It's a
No,
conundrum.
answer the question though.
I don't know.
Who's coming
I
off?
don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
Matthews.
I don't know. Buddy,
That's
I'm not. No,
I'm
you're
serious.
not. You're not. Mark Savard and Craig Berube are not taking him off the top unit.
Buddy, it's
you're
not
just
going
going
to last
back
forever.
You're just going back to the same thing. You're going to a top unit now that they're rolling, and you just go Riley, Tavares, Marner, Nylander, Matthews.
So Nyes comes off.
Yeah, that's what you do.
So just betraying my tweet from the other night where it was like, no matter what happens with the power play, Nyes has to be on.
Listen, do I think it should be Tavares? And I know he scored here or whatever, but if you're all things being equal, I've said this a million times, Tavares comes on, Matthews goes back on. It may not be the right thing. I don't know, but it's going to be nice. And it's going to go back to what it was at the start of the year when they couldn't do anything. And he'll come back and they'll suck again. And then we'll all be like, oh my God, they got to take power play. Like, it's so stupid. It's the stupidest sport in the world. Like I was saying at the game last night, you know, the best goal scorer maybe on planet Earth outside Ovi right now, which is another story.
I hate it.
He gets hurt and their power play immediately becomes the best in the league. It's just the stupidest sport in the world. This has broken my brain. I really don't know. And they look so much better. Directness, like it's everything Berube has said he wanted from the start of the year. Every single press conference is, I want it to be direct. I want more shots. The second Matthews went away, it started to happen and the puck started to go in the net. So I don't know if it's a coincidence. I don't know if they're not deferring to him. I know it's weird. That's all I can say. I know it's professional. I know that's professional analysis. It's weird, dude.
No, it is weird, but it's all those things. It's never one thing, right? With stuff like this in sports, part of it is a coincidence. Part of it is luck. Part of it is regression to the mean. Part of it is what you're talking about, which they're finally following through on what the mandate has been from day one with this power play.
Yeah.
But I do think, and I mentioned this yesterday, I think that part of it is that these guys, and specifically Mitch Marner, who is out there to basically be the feeder to Austin Matthews, doesn't need to be thinking about, well, we got to get this guy his touches. And it just feels like everyone's involved. And that's how the power play feels right now. It's like Nyes has been a contributor on it. Morgan Riley's been a contributor. Marner has been spectacular on it. Nylander's making plays for himself off the rush and burying. Like every single guy on the power play feels dangerous as opposed to what it felt like before, which was weirdly, why don't any of these guys feel dangerous? And so to me, I just think that if you are the captain and you are the leader, and it is a sport where when things are going well, you tend to stick with it. It's not going to be forever. I just don't know why you wouldn't be like, you just came back, the power play's cooking, leave it as it is for a game and just have it so that it's one game where they don't score a goal, for God's sake. Can I just get one game before you fire him back up there? Like, I'm being dead serious. I
know
I
you
don't care
are.
how many people call me an idiot. I don't care how many people are against the idea that Matthews is there. Dude. I understand who he is, what he means, all these different things. But right now, the power play's hot. Leave it alone. Don't touch it.
Okay. You're not an idiot because I get a lot of mentions. This team's better without Matthews. Like, it's the Sundin thing all over.
That I don't believe.
No, but like, I mean, they would have a 700 winning percentage without him. Are we sure? Like,
they've never lost a game without Matthews.
I'm starting to be like, are we sure they're not better without him? Like, I really don't know anymore.
You start to look at like what a trade would look like.
Yeah. Can we get some picks for him? Maybe. Like, I don't know.
Okay, yes, you're not the GM. God, you figure it'd be hard to do worse than Dubas, but there we are. Anyway, the one power play goal is spectacular, but also special teams been great for this team in general. Like I've been mentioning it, they've got one of the best penalty kills in the NHL. They've been just a really good defensive team this year. A lot of it is, of course, when you get saves and you get the play of Stolar so far through the season. And Woll was solid tonight. I don't think that he had to do too much spectacular. I think maybe his best save of the game came early, and then he actually, the toughest part of that one is that he basically had to go 2 periods where he didn't touch the puck and then was fine in the third. But the penalty kill, like they get a shorthanded goal, and it's I thought it was kind of a funny one because Kampf overskates it so bad. Like it's such a terrible play by Kampf and then a good play by Kampf to find Marner, who doesn't quit on the play whatsoever and gets to a spot and beats Suzuki to it and then buries. But yeah, this was kind of the game is completely over moment to me.
Marner is outstanding recently. Like it's unbelievable. And, you know, watching him live last night, I so rarely get to go to a Leafs game. And when you get to go, I love going to Leaf games, and to see him live, it's just he's otherworldly right now. And tonight again, he's so good. And, you know, watching this, not to look too far down the road, and I don't want to talk about the contract here or whatever, but if you're another team that is, you know, on the up and up, building, let's say like a Chicago Blackhawks, or let's say like a team that's wanting to contend sometime soon, where you're trying to put a good player with some of your young guys. Like, this is what he looks like when he's the best player on the team. And when he is like the focal point, he is unbelievable. And listen, he's good when Matthews is in the lineup. They've had their moments together, but him as like the focal point of your team, best player. And I know Willie's leading the league in goals or whatever, but Marner's just over this last stretch been the best player. And, you start convincing yourself, if you're another team, being like, boy, really hoping he gets to free agency so I can throw some money at that guy, because God, he is really, really coming on. It's been unbelievable.
Listen, he's always been a great regular season player.
For sure.
You can really tell when he's completely on, and it's the legs and it's the edges and it's the stick handling in tight spaces where it just feels as though he's playing in a different league. Guys can't get the puck off of his stick. He's been that guy recently. I still believe that you keep him away from Matthews. The only problem with that theory is that you need Max Domi to start scoring goals, and he defers again tonight in some spots. But Max Domi makes almost $4 million a season, and I know that he's someone that Leaf fans are very reluctant to criticize. He's someone that you and I both advocate for getting good minutes with good players. I do believe that he will eventually break through and show more than what he's showing right now. But it's how many games in the season are we now? 16? Is this the 16th game? So 16 games in the season, you don't have a goal and you've got 6 assists. Like, for sure, you've been down on power play 2, and you've been down on the third line playing with some tougher players, but you've also been up the lineup now, and he's not producing enough for what he's supposed to make, or what he does make, and for what he's supposed to provide when he's playing with good players. And I think the toughest case for keeping Matthews away from Marner when he returns and just loading back that line is that Domi just didn't really do much with the opportunity.
Yeah. They need more from Domi, flat out.
Yeah,
they really do. Like, it's pretty clear to me that he's been below expectation. And I think at the end of last year, he really, like, midway through the season last year into the end of this season, he really came on and he was a really good player for this team. But a lot of that was spent playing with Matthews, right? That the stretch he had with Bertuzzi, Matthews, and Domi playing as a line, he was excellent. So it's a conundrum with him. And this is some of the reason that you were, reluctant to give him the term and give him the money, but they need more from him, flat out. I think they'll get more from him at some point, but is it a good time to mention the thing in the end of the second period there with Savard?
Of course. I was just going to say that I'm trying to find out what his actual even like primary assists are, because he's got all 6 of them even strength. I know that. But it's 16 games with 6 points, man. It's
need more from him.
It's just not good enough. Like, at least he hasn't been like a huge detraction when it comes to his defensive play. I think that everyone loves to point to that when he makes a mistake, but overall, to me, it hasn't been He's been
better. He's been better defensively.
Yeah, and he does provide emotional lift to this team. There's like, he's an intangibles player for sure, but ultimately, you're paid almost $4 million, and you're an offensive player. When you get these opportunities. I know he was snake bit last night where he gets a couple of good chances and just misses barely, but he's gotta, like, I don't know. Last year, I think he finished with 9 goals. This year, if he's supposed to finish with, I hope, more than that. So anyway, I don't think that's what they really paid for, is this complete lack of production.
Tough for him. It's gonna be tough for him to get denied.
So at the end of the second period,
I couldn't believe this. Listen, you're down. So David Savard, you're down 3 on the road. You're getting embarrassed by a historic rival. You're standing there punching a guy in the back of the head.
Yeah.
And listen, Domi is a snap show, and some of us are times we hate it, where we're like, this is a dumb time to do it. This is stupid. Don't do this. And I thought this was a time where it's actually like, I get why he's pissed. Like, I would probably get the gloves off in that situation.
Dude, he's sticking up for himself. That's a gutsy moment. That's a guy giving up 40 pounds.
Yeah.
And like
I got to do it.
And the guy's just hammering him with rabbit punches. Also, I think the thing that really got that going too was the cross check earlier in the game that clearly hurt Domi behind the net, which was a cheap shot, got away with it. No big deal. I'm not crying about it. It's like, that's hockey. You got away with one. Good for you. And Domi's like, how many times has Domi given one of those to somebody too, right? Like, that's his dream, to give somebody a cross check.
Oh yeah. He's done that a million times.
Yeah. So I think he's like, fair play, give and take, but he turns around. He's like, all right, let's do this then, big man. And Savard turns his head, won't drop his glove, then tries to drop it like once his teammate comes over and the refs are there. genuinely embarrassing moment, in my opinion, for Savard. Like, to be that big, to be in that situation, to be the initiator, all of it is like, I had one guy tweet me should retire during the intermission.
Yeah,
And I thought, that would be the honorable thing to do.
Like, what are his teammates saying to him?
Yuck. That's what
like
they're saying.
Like, you're going back to the locker room, you're sitting down but in the second intermission, you're down 4-1. They're like, bud, you wouldn't go? Like you'd be kind of looking down the bench like, holy crap, he's not going to fight him.
Broken? Did
he's not going to fight him and
give him rabbit punches. Like,
he's not going to fight him in that spot. It's sort of like, it's kind of what the Habs are there. They lack passion. They lack the fight. Like, they don't have a whole lot of it. Newhook jumps on Holmberg when he runs into the goalie. I guess that was a bit of fight, but that play right there kind of quantifies to me what the Habs are right now. Dude. Just a lifeless, sort of soft team with no purpose.
I think that's really well said. But dude, that's supposed to be Savard's dream, that he gets Domi to drop
downhill punches. He's given up a foot on him.
Yeah,
like that. Just fire up your team, show some passion, get the gloves off. If you hate him so much to punch him in the back of the head 4 times, get the flippers off, show your teammates something. And instead, your teammates are having a conversation in the Uber without you, being like, could you believe Savard wouldn't fight Domi?
Anderson, oh my God, that was in there. I broke it up.
Anderson was like, buddy, you're not going to go? Like, I guess I'll go.
I'll do it.
That's honestly why he went in there. Because he's like, you're not doing this? And then I thought they were going to give him the third man in situation, but it wasn't a fight. That's dark. If I'm a Habs fan watching that, I am embarrassed.
Yeah, that was cowardly. There's just no other way to put it. That was cowardly. Like, that was really, like what you get on players for that, right? Where it's like the types where they'll do the dirty deeds, but then they won't want to fight. And that was just it. And this isn't a situation too, where like his team's up protecting a lead and he needs to stay in the ice. Like,
perfect time to do it.
Yeah, there was literally nothing to be said about what he did on that play. I'm going to pivot to Connor Timmins, who gets the first goal of the game. Hand up. I was wrong. I was wrong. I had many Timmins takes. So when people would be like, give Timmins a try last year, or even during Justin Hall's tenure, I would go, there's no way that Timmins is better than Justin Hall.
We had that take a bunch, but
I've had many of that. Hand up. You gotta be a big person. You got to admit when you're wrong. Connor Timmins, I don't want to like blow this out of proportion here. Ultimately, he's a third pairing guy who's got 4 points on the season. He just scored his first goal. But to me, it's all the other stuff. It's not even just this goal, which is beautiful, right? Like the play before it, just absolutely shaken. Is that Anderson?
Yeah, it was a brutal flyby.
Yeah, like he shakes him on.
Look at the angle he takes on this.
Yeah,
that's McKee beer league. Yeah. Like legitimately, I do that play at least 3 times a game.
Yeah,
that was so bad.
But you and I had actually talked about this before the game, and so it was kind of opportunistic that this happened, because you and I were watching the Argos get a sweet W. A gutsy W for the boys. Who
sorry about
lost
your
their
ankle there,
Chad.
Holy.
Yeah, they lost Chad, but they got it out for their QB. It's all you can ask for. But we were sitting there watching the game, and we started talking about the Leafs a little bit, about the game. And I mentioned to you that Timmins has impressed me, and I thought that there's going to be a conversation about who should come out when Hakanpää's back. Part of it, to me anyways, is that it's always better to have depth. So this is a great problem to have. This is not like controversy talk. Yep. 2 is that Hakanpää is not meant to play every single night. Okay. Nope. So whoever does come out is going to come out and go back in. But what I will tell you is in my opinion anyway, this is a situation where it is the bottom 6 guys that are coming, or sorry, like the bottom pairing guys that are coming out. You're not touching the 4 and switching up the pairings. Like this is only a matter of, are you going to play 2 righties? Which hilarious that all of a sudden the Leafs have too many right-handed shot defensemen. It's like a surplus. They're trading one out of town. You know, the nerds are filling their pants.
Dubas never found one in 8 years, and all of a sudden Trilling's like, I have too many.
Yeah, I
Give
got
them
too
away.
Many.
Like,
just take them.
I got a DM from somebody being like, "Oh, Liljegren led the Sharks in ice time last night, bud." I was like, like I literally like laughed. He was -1, by the way. And those
honestly, that's more embarrassing than the Savard non-fight. that is. I don't even want to address that any further. Okay, but yeah, what do you do to start when Hakanpää's ready?
I think I don't know. It's tough. I think you go with. I think you take out Benoit first time.
I agree.
You take out Benoit first time, and then you see how it goes with the 2 righties in the bottom pair.
Yep.
And then you just see how Hawk and Pie is. But I got to tell you, I'm not taking out Timmins flat out. I was just looking at his game logs. He has played in and around 17 minutes for the last 6 games.
Yep.
Like that's a significant amount of ice, especially for a third pair guy. He's getting out there for a little bit of special teams. I saw him on the second power play unit tonight, which I think is new. I don't remember that happening a ton. He was out there at the end of the last one that they had.
He's done
so that. Has done that. Okay, I don't remember that a ton. But anyways, yeah, he's good. He's gaining trust, and you can see it. And I've said it before on the show. I'll say it again. He is the number one guy taking advantage of a fresh set of eyes. He's been awesome.
For sure.
Good for him.
Sure he is. For sure he is. So he's, again, and I'm not going to blow this out of proportion. 4 points so far this season.
Third pair guy. Good third pair guy.
Good third pair guy. Has his flaws, right? Still gets beat wide, like sometimes. Not the most physical player, right? He's never going to lay a bone-crushing hit like Benoit is going to lay for you. And even Benoit tonight had a couple where, he was throwing the body around and trying to make his physicality be an impact. That's something that clearly Berube wants. That's clearly something that Tree Living wants in the defenseman when he's thinking about. They definitely thought that pairing was going to be Benoit and Hakanpää, like when they were envisioning what this blue line was going to look like. I just think that Timmins has made himself really valuable to this team. But the reasons why is he's calm in his own end. He just doesn't make a lot of rushed and panicky plays. And that's the thing that I really like about him, is that Toronto last year really struggled to break the puck out. And he's a third pairing guy who I trust when it's on his stick. And I trust when he's in a tight situation to make just the easy, smart, quick read. So good for him.
To me, his like second round pick upside shows out when he has the puck in his own zone. Clearly flaws to his games, but he's not afraid to make a pass. He's confident in his abilities, and he's doing a good job on the third pair.
Yeah, it seems like the chat mostly thinks that Benoit is coming out. Jacob Sheehan wrote, Benoit is coming out. Hakanpää comes in. Not even a question. Benoit has been the clear weak link so far this season. Again, I don't even think Benoit has been really bad.
The rest of D's just better, bud.
It's just good. Yeah, it's just like, it's not even a scathing indictment. He's in terms of like a third pairing defenseman that you found off the scrap heap.
Yeah,
Benoit is fine. He's no different than what he was last year. It's just that you've seen him.
Well, he's not playing with Jake McCabe, and Jake McCabe. Like the Leafs top 4 is legit been awesome. Like you look at who that top 4 is a real top 4, and it's nice to see. And then you just kind of worry about the bottom 2 guys. This is kind of what you do in the NHL. You have 4 great guys, and then you kind of figure out the rest, right? That's kind of how it goes. And that's what they've got. That's what they've got the recipe here. And it's taken Brad Treliving 2 calendar years to get it done. And Kyle Dubas never did it. So
by the way,
thanks, Kyle.
The blue line, it was another game where I really liked everything with OEL.
Yeah.
Like I just, you've mentioned this many times, and I think we all have, where it goes, didn't expect this kind of nastiness to his game, but he yaps to the refs, he's involved, dude. I like the guy a lot. I really
pleasant surprise, man. Pleasant surprise. Because I wasn't like horribly down on the signing, but I had the radar was up on that one. And at least to start here for the first month and a half of the season, it's been a great signing. So he's fun to watch right now.
Yeah, listen, the Leafs missed on one of their big defenseman signings last year, and it was an older guy, and this wasn't the same thing. It wasn't like a full reclamation project, but I do think people thought similar things where he went, "Oh, this is the name. This is the wrong time to be buying." What?
Klingberg, you mean?
Yeah, Klingberg. Yeah, it just felt like, okay, you're gonna go get the big pedigree guy who hasn't. Anyway, it just, again, very different circumstances. Klingberg wasn't coming off of a Stanley Cup win.
No.
But yeah, just it felt in the moment like, holy crap, you're buying this at the exact highest point. And he's been like a beautiful fit for this team. He's been awesome.
I will say more of a rapid fire thing, but sick for Pacioretty.
Well, that's not even a wrap. That's my last major topic.
Just sucks.
Yeah.
It's just, what can you say? The guy is trying his best out there, hammering guys. He was running around like Jordan Tutu in the World Juniors in Halifax right now. Like he's just trying to hammer everybody. And he's just an older guy who's injury prone, and that kind of stuff catches up to you, and it happened pretty fast. You feel
that's just an old guy injury.
Yeah, like, man. It is like, that's just my hammy. Like,
you get touched in the back, and he's like, I blew up my hamstring. Like,
my hammy. Like,
help me get to the room. Help me get to the room.
It sucks because he's been great. And he's been like, I had done everything I've asked of him. And did he get to 9 games?
Yeah.
Did he get one of his bonus?
He would have gotten to 9. He has to have gotten to 9 because they're at 16 right now. And I don't think he's missed 5 games.
Yeah.
I don't think I think he's missed.
Yeah, no,
4.
you're right. So good. So he got one of his bonuses at least, but
yeah, I don't think he's missed 7 full ones, but I mean,
No.
like, I think he's missed 4 or 5 games in the entire season.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't know.
Got the first bonus at least.
Yeah, and I would imagine hopefully that he'll be back. That this isn't like a Dak Prescott, you're out for the season hamstring injury. But either way, it's a setback for this guy, and it has to be frustrating given all of the things that he's done working on his body this past offseason. And to me, it's just like it's a confidence thing, right? He's probably feeling healthy. That's part of the reason why he's flying around. He's feeling great about his game. He's feeling great about his opportunity, and he ends up getting hurt. Sucks. Like, and
it's hard to get that confidence back now that happened. Like, you're not going to feel the same coming back.
Yeah, that's it. And you got to come back, and you don't get the training camp to ramp up. You're being thrown right back in the fire when you go out there. And now again, it begs the same kind of question too with the lines, where all of a sudden it seemed like, hey, who's coming out, right? Who's coming out for Dewar and who's coming out for Matthews? And I thought the third line guys were all playing desperate because they didn't want to lose their spot. And to me, I'd had 3 guys that were on the bubble that I thought were going to kind of be the triple bubble guys. And now it's like losing Pacioretty. There's going to be a big opportunity for somebody. And Robertson got the first look, and I wonder if he continues to get it.
Probably will. I mean, he was the player of the game last night, so probably if he keeps that up, you got the belt from old Stoley there. So
yeah, I was gonna say though, that's pretty clearly like we can't keep giving it to the same 4 guys.
Well, Stolar's had the belt.
I know, but I'm saying
you can't just be like, screw you guys, it's going back on.
Yeah,
like, I literally made a barehanded save.
Yeah, they're trying to work it down. That's the bar now for Robertson. They're like, you drew a penalty that wasn't really a penalty.
And
like,
you scored that didn't count. Yeah. Good job.
Yeah, the belt. Anyway, let me see. Do I have anything else? I think that's it. Yeah, it sucks about Pacioretty. It really does. That one
question: Who gets the net versus the Sens? It is not a question. It is Anthony Stolarz.
Yeah, it's not a question.
That is a statement. I will say
that. It is a very, very, very clear answer. Yep.
Last thing for me quickly. Going to the Leafs game last night, I had an absolute blast. I just, I'm blown away by the amount of people that came up to me. Like, I truly am. Nice. I'd say they love the show. They love Leafs talk. I was, I'd had a few Coors, try to remember a few names, but let me go here. Okay, it was Jake, Courtney, Emma, Tony, Chris, Jeff, and that's all I got. Went with my boy Jeff to the game. We had a blast, but people coming up to me and just being like, I love the show. I love the show. You guys do an awesome job. I listen to every show. It blows my mind. Like I truly, it blows my mind, and it really, really is touching to me. Yeah. So I was
going to say, nobody loves getting recognized more than you. Like, buddy,
it's just crazy to me that like, I'm not this guy. And it's just all of a sudden I'm like, everyone's like, oh my God, I love you. I'm like, what the hell?
Here's what I would say for my part of this. What I would prefer is if you just subscribe to the show. If you subscribe to the show, that means infinity more to me than coming up and saying, "Well, I don't mind it either." But it's like, just subscribe to the show. That's
they do. They probably do. If they're a big fan of the show, they do.
Hit the thumbs up on the YouTube button. Like, that means the world to me. Seeing where we rank in the numbers.
That's all you care about, eh?
Seeing the
numbers.
Views go
You're
up.
a numbers guy. I'm the people person, bud. You're the numbers guy.
Listen, I already know how it works in the business. If you want Leafs talk to be Leafs talk next season, the numbers got to keep climbing. It's the way that it goes. So every time you don't share this podcast on Twitter or on Instagram,
now you're threatening people.
Whenever you see that, it's just know that if you love it so much, you should show it. You should show it. Anyways, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at JD Bunkis, at Sam McKee. Make sure that you stop Sam if you ever see him on the streets, because God, he loves it so much.
Buddy, it's so sweet, man. And it's just like, I would never, like, I can't believe it. It's out of genuine love that I just love it.
I know you love it. I know you love it.
People are saying JD is jealous. That's true. It's true. You're jealous.
I hate it. Why isn't it me?
You're jealous. You're actually jealous that I just got to go out with the boys on Friday night and rip it up.
I was going to say, absolutely no jealousy of getting recognized, because normally when I'm at games, I'm drinking pretty heavily. And so when people are coming up, I'm like, oh no, I'm going to say stupid stuff. I'm gonna talk too much. But yes, oh God, I'd kill for that Friday off. Next Friday, we're getting it off. Next Friday, that's the one. Okay, for both of us, thank you for listening. And no, it really does mean the world when people care about the
Argonauts. Woo! Grey Cup, baby. Who won the West Final? I didn't see.
Oh, it was Winnipeg in like a total beatdown. It wasn't even close. It was an absolute.
They're a scary team. They're good. They snap it around. It's gonna be a tough matchup for our Argos, but buckle up. Our boy Arbuckle's got it. Buckle up, baby.
Arbuckle dropping the F-bomb on the broadcast. He's a leader.
Caution Eddie with a right hook with a.
He's a leader, man. He knows. Give him a microphone. Let him let him go. I don't know.
You gotta get him on the show this week, bud. You gotta get the Bucks on. Bucksy gotta come on.
Making plays, like a lot of turnovers. That's the game script for beating Winnipeg. That's the game script. Anyway, Sammy and I actually, what we really want to know too is we have our bars, but if there are Argos fans like diehards, we don't want to come to like a bar and it's just you there. Okay. Like this is the PSA. We don't want you to be like, my Argos bar is amazing. And we show up with you and your two buds.
It's like in Elmira.
We're not doing that. Yeah. We're not leaving the city for this. But if there is an Argos bar and we don't know it, because like, I'm not going to go to the watch party and watch on that screen. That stinks.
No.
That screen's brutal.
Too small screen.
I'm not sitting in the cold to not watch it live. Like there's just absolutely no shot in any reality. But if people do know like an elite Argos bar that doesn't get enough credit, fire it our way, because that's where we want to be, is with the people for the Grey Cup. Go Argos, go Leafs. We'll see you on Tuesday night.